Hey guys, in today's micro lecture, we're going to talk about ambulance stretchers or trolley beds. Now, many ambulances, most ambulance services have their own type of stretcher, and their choice of stretcher depends on a whole range of factors, including cost, size of workforce, location, and a whole range of other factors too. Now, many of you will have already had a chance to play with a stretcher if you've attended workshop 1 or 2, or if you're currently working in the industry in some capacity. Now, we tend to use stretchers for any patient who cannot physically walk to the back of the ambulance and who may benefit from a stretcher. Now, of course, patients can also be conveyed to the ambulance using a carry chair as well, but it very much does depend on the circumstances and the situation. In most occasions, paramedics will choose to put patients on stretchers rather than chairs because when you get to the ambulance, because of the size of the vehicle, you have to put the patient on a stretcher anyway, and it's just more convenient. And on most occasions, there's less manual handling as well for both the paramedic and the patient. Now, we're not going to go through any particular design. I mean, the college does use a certain type of stretcher, but you'll be trained on that when you get to the workshops. But instead, let's just generically pick a random stretcher to look at because most of the features are actually very similar throughout all the different brands. Now, this is one of the electronic versions of the Stryker. Stryker stretchers are an American brand, and they're extremely popular amongst emergency medical service providers. Now, stretchers have a range of functions, including raising and lowering. As you can see here, there's a position for a patient to have their legs bent for abdominal injuries and for abdominal pain. You can raise the back, you can lower the back, you can raise the legs if there's signs of hypovolemia or low blood pressure. There's storage space under here for the oxygen canisters and other bits and pieces. There are straps to strap your patient into the stretcher to make sure that they're nice and safe. Now, when you're doing your checks in the morning, do make sure that all of these features work. Also, make sure you give the stretcher a thorough clean down as well, because you don't want to be transmitting bacteria from one patient to another. Make sure that the wheels are rotating okay, because sometimes the wheels themselves can become damaged. Make sure the brakes work. Make sure the functions raise and lower. Make sure the side rails, it's difficult to see on this image, but make sure the side rails are workable, because otherwise the patient could fall out, particularly if they have a convulsion and therefore lend themselves to injury. So that's just a micro lecture on stretchers. And like I said, you will have a chance to play with these when you get to the workshops. My name's Sam Willis, and I hope you've enjoyed this micro lecture on stretchers. Thanks, guys.